once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.
I'm good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good indeed.
Good stuff. Well, Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're here in Manchester. With me I've got Adam Smith. Adam, we're just about to kickstart the press conference for a huge card here in Manchester. Katie Taylor against Linard Datu. Hope I've said that right. What's your thoughts on that fight? I mean, it's just good headline for Katie.
It's a fight night that we've been working on for a long time. Eddie Hearn, Brian Peters and myself. I'm delighted to have Katie Taylor back on Sky Sports, on regular Sky Sports at 10 o'clock at night. It's fantastic for us, and she's really excited about fighting in Britain. You know, she's been in America for a long time now and been doing brilliantly. Wonderful, picking up belts, thrilling us. She's fantastic to watch. We adore Katie, and you know, she had a terrific tear up in the Garden when she unified the lightweight division. Slightly controversial outcome maybe, but she got the belts, she went home with them, and now she takes on another test, which is a step up in weight and trying to get hold of another world title. It's going to be a really tough affair, not just the weight, but I think it's the styles will really gel. I think it'll be a real battle, a battle royale in Manchester. I love coming to Manchester. It's a fight city. It's a great arena, and we thought about the possibility of having Joshua Buatsi sort of alongside her, or one of our biggest talents. They're very similar in characters. They're both tremendously talented in the ring. They've both got that switch that they're the nicest out of the ring, and then they go inside and they're terrors, aren't they? And I thought Buatsi and Taylor would work really well together. And then Anthony Crolla, fantastic. Tail end of his career. Obviously didn't want to go out the way he did against Lomachenko, so he felt that he wanted to fight back in Manchester, and that's terrific. So
is this Crolla's last dance?
I think it is. I was very impressed with him when he came and helped us out as a pundit on the Lomachenko week, and I'd like to do some more of that with Anthony. He's done a great deal with his career. He's had a fantastic fairy tale story, really, to become world champion after everything that he's endured. He's Mr. Nice Guy in Manchester. He deserves a real finale, and I hope everybody turns out for that. So I think so. I think this might be the last chance to see $1 Million. So I hope.
Most of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll be a fantastic night. We've also got a great fight with Cash and Cullen as well. So really, really good fight night on November the 2nd for Sky customers and everyone to enjoy.
I just want to go back to Katie Taylor. I mean, if all going well on November the 2nd, I mean, there's loads of fights there for her. We're going to talk about the Pursoon rematch that there's possible with Chantal Cameron, and obviously at the weekend Amanda Serrano. She has 6 months to fight Katie Taylor, was here. So Kate keeps on winning. There's going to be bigger and bigger fights for her out there in the future, isn't there?
There's a lot of big fights. I actually had a day with Brian Peters on holiday in Cork, where we spent some time together, and we chatted and sort of plotted what we thought the best way for Katie to go. I mean, she wants to fight everybody and anybody. She doesn't mind, and I think the Pursoon rematch is huge, obviously, but maybe we need to get Pursoon on one of our bills over here and just keep her in the limelight, and maybe they can rematch sometime next year. But as you said, there's huge names out there. Amanda Serrano is an obvious fight for New York, but I'm just really pleased she's back in this time zone anyway. Not Ireland, not our home, but it's Britain, and it's 10 o'clock at night, so everyone gets a chance to see her, and it's fantastic. And I think she'll thrill us as she always does, win, lose or draw, but she just wins almost all the time, which is great.
This is great news for us. But I've got to ask, when this fight was announced, my Twitter, because obviously I deal with the Scotland and Irish sort of side of things for IFL TV, so when this was announced, all the Irish guys, all my mates and friends and all that were saying, why can't they come to Dublin for a homecoming with Katie? Do you have any when that will happen, or if that can happen?
Let's hope it does happen at some point in the future. I mean, at the moment we're in Manchester. There's a huge fight night here. Obviously she's fighting a lot on the eastern seaboard, which is full of the Irish. But I've been to Dublin with Katie, and we've had events there, and I'm sure she'd love that at some stage in her career. But look, she wants to fight for another 5-10 years, so there's plenty of time for challenges and all that sort of stuff ahead. And obviously fighting in Ireland will be up there for her, I'm sure. But you've got to go where the fights are. Crolla's big in Manchester, obviously a lot of money out in America. So we just we see how it all develops. But just as long as the Irish are behind Katie, as I know they are, as I said, our holiday in West Cork, I know how popular she is there. It's a fantastic. The Emerald Isle is wonderful, and as long as all that support comes to Manchester or goes to the Eastern Seaboard, it doesn't matter. The Irish can travel anywhere, so she'll have that support and that love.
Exactly. Well, I asked Lou DiBella in New York when I was there for the Haney fight. How far are we from seeing a full card, just all women boxing, headlining top to toe? Do you think that's far away?
It's a possibility. Look, I look back. We've got Jane Couch in at Sky this week. She was a pioneer in many ways, but in a way she came before her time. And it was only in recent times that the women's boxing has really exploded. Nicola Adams in London 2012. Everything Katie did, obviously, as an amazing standout amateur. You've seen what Clarissa Shields did. Savannah Marshall. Now I mentored her at Sky Sports for 4 years, and she was a fantastic advocate for Sky as well as going to be a terrific professional. And the only girl from Hartlepool that wanted to box. So it's given. What's happened is the likes of Katie's success and Clarissa and Amanda Serrano and all these girls. It's given hope for the future. I know my little girls want to get into a gym and try it out, and I think that's really important. So women's boxing is absolutely flying.
Got a future world champion in your house?
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you, I've got some kids who absolutely idolise Katie Taylor, and I think that's a really important thing. They've seen her film, they've watched her fights, and they see that you can do anything. And you can dress up as a boy for a couple of years, and which she had to do. She had to go through that, and finally it's come through. When Eddie told me he was signing Katie Taylor, I was so pleased, and it's brilliant that we've been a big part of that with Sky, and I'd love it that one day we can get a stat card of women fighters. No reason why we can't, providing they're all really good matches. No problem at all there, and I'm still very keen on getting Katie Taylor to bigger and better things. But I think Savannah Marshall will become a world champion. There's so many others. There's Chantel Cameron, there's Shannon Courtney, there's Terry Harper, there's a load over here and plenty over the other side of the pond. It's really growing now, and I think women's sport's growing in general. We've been showing a lot of women's sport on Sky with the cricket, the netball. Katie's one of our absolute flag bearers in that department, and I think it's about time, and it is time. So all the women are out there in the gyms, and the young girls who'd be thinking about maybe lacing them up. Look at your heroes now. There's so many of them.
Exactly. You touched on Joshua Boazzi there. I mean, he's up against Capellero, I believe his name is. He's highly ranked in 3 of the world organisations. I think it's WBC, W and WBA. Is this Boazzi's toughest test to date?
Very much so, and I think it's the right fight at the right time. And with Joshua, it's all about building the right sort of matches, and we saw Anthony Yard take the opportunity of a lifetime, really, and he did brilliantly. He covered himself in glory. He didn't come back with a win, but he came back with a new sort of standing, I guess, in the sport. We all knew about his talent, but he showed a lot else, I think, that night. So sometimes you take the risks early on in your career. Sometimes you take a little bit more time. I think Boazzi is one of these guys who's Eddie's had to try and sort of, and his training team have had to try and sort of hold him back a bit. But it's difficult when he's that talented. So I think this is probably the right fight at the right time. He's closing in now on a shot at the world title, I guess, within the next 12-18 months. And fights like this is just what he needs. But again, it's the prime time. It's getting him fighting on Sky Sports. 9-10 o'clock at night. That's crucial.
I mean, the light heavyweight division is probably one of the better divisions when it comes to the depth of talent.
It is.
Dimitri Bivol, Kovalev, you've named obviously Kovalev there. I mean, we've seen that Yard went out to Russia. It's just maybe a step too soon. How many fights is Boazzi away from maybe stepping in amongst these top?
Look, but I think Boazzi could have done that, and maybe he could have beaten Kovalev. Who knows? But they've gone a slightly not more cautious way, maybe keeping him here. It's maybe a more sensible way, and it doesn't matter. As I said, Anthony Yard came back with his stature grown, and obviously the Yard Boazzi fight is a huge fight down the line. I don't read too much into sort of one loss on the career, the career record. I mean, my good mate Johnny Nelson lost his first 3 fights, and look what he achieved after that. So it doesn't matter a loss, but I think Boazzi, the key for Joshua is he's a lovely guy. He's great in the ring to watch. He's an intelligent guy out of it. I think the key with him is just building a fan base. That's the key. He's from Britain and obviously with African roots too. He's got a lot of people who are really interested in him now. He got a massive cheer when he was over for the AJ Ruiz fight at the weigh-in. That's great. People are starting to cotton on that he might be the next big thing. He's under the AJ sort of managerial banner as well. But I think it's about getting him fighting regularly on our time zone so that he builds a really big audience here. Manchester, who did it better than Ricky Hatton? It was a snowballing effect with Ricky. We started in the sort of Wythenshawe Forum, and then it was the GMEX, and then obviously the 9X at that time, or the Manchester Arena, the MEN, I don't know what it was called, but it was that arena, and it went to 10 to 15,000, and suddenly you couldn't get a ticket in there. The Costas Hugh fight, it was standing room only. People, I'm sure there was more than 22,000 in there that night at 2 in the morning. And then, as we said, at Vegas, it was who knows, 30, 40, 50,000. No one knows quite how many Brits invaded, but it is about getting them on Sky regularly at this time of night. The Saturday night viewing, it's very important. If you have too many fights at sort of 3-4 o'clock in the morning, you might be getting better money in some ways going to America. There's a lot of money over there at the moment, but you do need the fan base, and the fan base sort of snowballs and it builds, and then hopefully they'll become box office fighters if they're that good. Boazzi could be a future box office star on his own, but I think he needs to grow that fan base, and I think this is a key step for him.
It's well documented, well known over social media and whatnot that the sort of Saturday night cards in the UK were sort of dipping a little bit in the last 6 months or so. But with this Newcastle card in October and with this card here in Manchester, you believe Eddie started to pick them up a wee bit more and put some more 50-50 fights and better fights on for the UK fans?
Well, we had to put some pressure on Eddie. I mean, look, he's very busy. He's taken this DAZN deal, and in many ways that has opened the doors to a huge amount of things for fighters, a lot more money. We've obviously got a lot of American content that we're showing on Sky Sports, which we're very thankful for. But what we can't forget is the UK market, and as I said to you, those sort of box office stars are made, and by watching Sky Sports. If you've got a big football match, in the evening at 5:30 on Sky Sports, and it rolls into boxing, you're bringing the casual fans over with you, not just the hardcore fans who are going to stay up through the night. So it's really important, especially with the younger guys, the Cordinas, the Boazzis, the Conor Benns, to build here. Really, once in a while go to America, sure, for that experience. We remember Hatton went to America, I think, for his second, third fight. I think he went to Germany as well. But you really want to build your fan base here if you're British. But going back to your question, yes, I wasn't happy about the on paper with the Ted Cheeseman Garcia card earlier in the year, but actually it was pretty decent night as it turned out. But after that, the Copper Box show was fantastic. We had a terrific show in Liverpool with Liam Smith and Pricey and all that. And since then, I mean, the lineup we've got for this autumn winter is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We've got the Golden Contract. We've just done a deal for that, so we've got that starting on October the 4th. We've got October the 19th in Newcastle, which is a cracking bill with Ritson and Robbie Davis, and Savannah Marshall's going to be on there, and also Fitzgerald and Cheeseman. It's a great lineup. October 19th. You've got this on November the 2nd. Stand by for another major announcement, sort of back end of November, I think. And we've got to make sure that we give really good shows, to the UK fans here at sort of 7 to 11 at night. That's a key period. And I think you add to that a couple of box office shows. One is the Lomachenko fight, bringing the best fighter in the world over to London on our time zone, was fantastic. Then you got October the 26th with Josh Taylor and the Chisora, all that argument about who's main event. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a stacked night, and I think that's fantastic. That's again on a UK time zone. And then on December the 7th, of course, we've got the big one over in Saudi. Again, that will be main event 9 o'clock at night. So it's fantastic that we've got all of that now happening on our time zone. Plus you add like Katie and Joshua fighting at prime time, and I'm hoping that Sky customers will be very happy with the very powerful schedule we've got ahead. I mean, chuck in Errol Spence and Sean Porter the week after, or Saturday week, and you've really got some exciting things happening.
When you break it down like that, I think the UK fans are going to be excited. You've done well there, I must admit. I've got to ask, the names on the bill just now, is there any more announcements going to be announced at this press conference, or just a wait and see type thing?
I don't know. Eddie always surprises me. I mean, I took the train ride up with him, and I know most of the things he's thinking, but even he can surprise me with one or two things. So I'm not sure, but what I do know, it will be a stack card. Newcastle, that's the remit is stat cards, and we want, you know, the future stars coming through now. It's, you know, you've got Next Gen, which is a fantastic opportunity. It was great seeing Anthony Fowler sort of bounce back recently in Liverpool, and that's a great stepping stone really, or it's a sort of, you know, if you've lost one you can come back on it. But I think the Saturday fight nights are very important for the real big hopes to take another step forward, you know, move up the levels, and also I think it's a great chance on this occasion to say a massive thank you to someone like Anthony Crolla, who's given us so many fantastic fights over the years. Who knows, maybe he wins and he'll get the bug again and carry on. But my hope is that this will be a nice swan song, and he'll come and help us maybe on our side of the fence, because I think he'll be very good at that.
So do I. Final question: did you watch Tyson Fury at the weekend?
I did. I watched it. I got up. I watched it. I didn't stay up for the whole thing. I've got young kids, and I went to bed and I got up for it. And listen. I love Tyson Fury. He's entertaining. I thought it was another great ring walk. You know, we had the Rocky thing last time. This time the Mexican thing was fantastic. Look, it was another must-watch attraction. I mean, watching his father in the BT studio sort of, you know, tear into everybody afterwards was, I think, as entertaining as the fight night itself. But yeah, look, you know, Tyson got the job done. You know, he wasn't himself. He wasn't, you know, as good as we've seen him. He wasn't flowing like we've seen him. But sometimes you've got to grit it out. I think it was largely due to the cut. You know, I didn't think he looked great in the first couple of rounds, and I was slightly surprised. But look, he's fighting a southpaw, which is never easy. He was given no credit going into it, even though he was unbeaten. Everyone said it was a complete mismatch, and that's got to sort of, you know, play on your mind. Look what happened to AJ and Ruiz. You know, Andy Ruiz came and spoilt the party, but I'm sure Joshua was looking ahead at the Deontay Wilder fight, and yes, he got beaten up on the night, but I'm sure that was one of the things that was happening. And I'm sure Tyson, you know, he can't be human if he's not looking at the Wilder fight and thinking, right, that's coming up next. You know, this guy, everyone says he's, you know, and however hard you train, you probably think I'm going to go in there and do the job. But if you're not quite flowing, and then you get what was a horrible cut so early in the fight, you've got to give him credit for battling it out. And you know, the corner patched him up, the doctor gave him the go ahead, and he got through it. And you know, he had a rough last round as well. So you know, he showed his warrior heart as well. How long the cut will keep him out for, I don't know. But you know, it was a good 12 rounder. It was entertaining to watch, and you know, he still won.
You believe the heavyweights are back?
Heavyweights never went away. I mean, I think, you know, even the sort of era of the Klitschko's where everyone said that was the dull heavyweight fight. Everyone still loves a heavyweight fight, you know, and all you need is something just to sort of wind it all up again. At the moment, you've got, you know, what's going to happen with Joshua and Ruiz, what's going to happen with Fury, the cut, the Wilder fight. Wilder's got Luis Ortiz before that, you know. Alexander Usyk's yet to make his debut at heavyweight. You've got Chisora Parker, which is a great sort of 50-50. There's so many of those type of fights at heavyweight that you can make. You've got Daniel Dubois, who I think is a real talent. You've got Joe Joyce. There's so many out there. And, you know, we just wait and see how it all unfolds. It's, I think, you know, as long as these matches are made over the next 2 or 3 years, I think, you know, fight fans are going to be happy.
Final question. Liverpool going to do it this year?
I absolutely think so, 100%. I really do. I think that I was gutted not to be in Madrid for the Champions League final. I watched it in Carragher's bar with the Smith brothers. Obviously, before the Joshua Ruiz fight, I couldn't be in 2 places at once. My work overcoming my passion there. I wish I could have done, obviously. But I think this is, obviously, Man City are still going to be favourites despite the fantastic start that we've had. But look, you know, we haven't didn't tinker much over the summer. I think we've got a new player in Oxlade-Chamberlain who I think is like a new signing. I think he's terrific. I think you know, Bobby Firmino's performance against Newcastle the other day was just electric. He's got to be one of the best players in the world at the moment. Mane's scoring.
Scottish left back.
Robertson I think he was up there with Virgil as player of last season. I thought Robertson was absolutely fantastic. I think there was a slight doubt ahead of tonight's game in Napoli with him, I think. But look, I think we've got a good chance of having a great run in the Champions League again. But the Premiership for us is really important this year. I think that we came so close last year. I think this time there's the confidence. I think there's the defence. Yes, we need Alisson back sooner rather than later, and you know, we need obviously a little bit of lady luck along the way. But City dropping those points early can't have given us a better start. So yeah, I'm very confident that we're going to be on top of the pile by the end you know, what's a couple of decades of not misery, but a couple of decades of waiting for that moment. And you know, I can't wait, and I'll definitely be there.
You certainly seem confident, Adam.
There you go. You've got to be confident.
Exactly. Well, thanks for this, FIFL TV, and catch you soon. Thank you.
Problem. Cheers.
Once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.